little throwback to 2022. It's the 2022 South Florida Open. This is the final round lead card back 9. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Nick Hansen.
Hey folks, how we doing today? I'm excited for these last 9 holes of the Gatekeeper season, and I'm excited to be here doing it with you, Fish.
Yeah, for sure. We're out here at Snyder Park, which is one of the nicer courses in South Florida, and Tri-Fly Disc Golf has put a lot of work into making this event a success. On our card, we've got Paul McBeth, Thomas Gilbert, Adam Durham, and Garrett Gurthie. Paul out in front, but kind of had a little bit of a slip-up that's kind of letting other folks back into the race.
Yeah, Randon Latta, for one, is charging up that leaderboard at 8 down already through this round. So excited to see where he finishes, and I'm sure some of these players on our lead card are watching and seeing how well he's doing. But let's get right into it here at hole 10, 300-foot par 3. It's kind of like a 90-degree turn here, whereas those 2 trees that you saw at the corner, you need to really get in front of them, so it just skips right up to the basket.
Yeah, in the absence of that, the critical miss is too far inside on that guardian tree. That's going to leave Thomas with a difficult angle to approach. All able to push beyond that, and will take a skip, but still be well short.
Yeah, you need more of a forward pushing skip. He kind of got that hook skip you see out of a more stable disc.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see, so Garrett went Firebird in round 1.
Smokes.
Now he goes Destroyer, like playing for the speed to push as far as he can.
It's not often you see somebody get deep of this green.
No, the angle and shape of the fairway just don't allow it. Adam playing jungle ball, kind of going to the left.
I spy a fish.
Yeah, I'm playing hole 11 right now. I will say I played hole 11 twice, once during hole 10 and then again during hole 11. That's not the advisable way to do it. Adam's kind of following that mistake and is going to be responsible, pitch it up to the middle. And then he's got this zone approach left.
That right there is such a tough call to make on a shorter par 3 like this. You're basically guaranteeing at least bogey.
Yeah, momentum's a real thing, and he just took a double bogey on the previous hole. Like, in your head, you really don't want to be given another stroke back to the course by laying up.
Oh, and you can see it on Garrett's face. He wanted that one just off the band for his birdie putt.
Thomas staying connected to the leader, McBeth, with his par putt. And this will be Adam to save bogey. Well done. We saw a little bit of putting struggles from him previously. Good to see him get it back on track. And hole 10 playing pretty tough for this particular card.
Okay, we're going to play the card as over par. Not very often you see that on your lead card on a par 3 like this.
No, just a sneaky 300.
Hole 11 is 444 feet to par 4. It's a very tough beginning to the hole where it's 2 tight alleyways and a low ceiling. There is a Mando on the right side that you have to navigate. And then you get into the green here where if you really lace one up the middle, you can get all the way to about a 90-footer as we saw Thomas do in round 1. See if you can do that again.
Yeah, this one's a little more nose up, not quite turned over. So he does get down there. The speed of the disc carries him.
Oof, he still got down there a ways, so I mean, I'd take that all day.
Yeah, I guess in a relative sense it wasn't as good, but it's also astonishingly good relative to how the field is doing it.
Yeah. Paul clipped one of the trees on the right, and it's going to be in the middle of that first fairway. Garrett leaked a little early, it looked like, left, and he might be in the trouble on that left side.
He did the hard part. He got through the initial gap. After that, being left isn't too bad because it does open up the angle to the secondary gap of the hole. Ball gonna go forehand, and kind of a flip up is the right play. You gotta push to the back wall. It looks like he was a little too early.
Well, Garrett with actually a pretty decent landing spot.
And
put himself inside the circle there for his birdie.
As I recall, there's a forehand putt from about that same spot.
Yeah, he made that in round 1, is that right?
Yeah, not something he probably wants to repeat. Ball with a jump putt approach.
Oof.
That'll
Well,
get him
looked
to
like a pretty good bid too.
It might have been. It might have been. Here's Thomas for a potential eagle stroke. Gives it the height, gives it the distance. And now Adam, playing hole 12 during hole 11. He's kind of been all over the place. Nicely done by Thomas for the bird.
Thomas really made this hole look easy this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
It's fun to watch these guys play and see how each of them attacks it a little differently, but they're all usually getting to that, relative same number of, even or under par.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Garrett with the straddle putt in for his birdie. And Adam for the par. Nicely done. This will be Paul for his par.
No time wasted there, just steps up and one pumping in.
Yeah. So after a difficult par 3 and a par 4, we're going to go into a stretch of par 3s in a row that are pretty short and simple. Tell us about it, Nick.
Yeah, so here we are. Our first one is 255 feet. You're going to see some trees scattered throughout the fairway there, but really it's just a straight shot with the one addition that it does have the Mando, but it really shouldn't come into play with these players.
Thomas playing for a little bit of a baby flex with a mid-range. Turns it over a touch too much. Garrett's going to go rock 3, and that's tracking towards the Mando. Does make it successfully, but he's going to have an approach left. Also with the mid. Something to notice about that shot is how he's able to down tempo the speed while maintaining a bunch of spin on the disc.
Yeah, he is an absolute master of the Frisbee.
How do you manipulate speed and spin during practice rounds or field work so that you can execute a shot like that during a tournament, Nick?
So I try to think of them as in percentages. So, I might be throwing at 50%, but I still need 100% spin. So I'm spinning, or using my wrist as much as I always do, or, maybe I'm slowing my arm down and also slowing down the amount of spin I'm putting on the disc. But I've kind of just it's basically like a feel point, but it's calculated as a percentage in my head. So it's just kind of how I've navigated it over the years.
Yeah. And you kind of just have to do it by trial and error and then reps, right?
Yeah, the biggest thing is reps.
Nicely done. Gets his birdie.
Yeah, I was going to say, another good birdie for him. He hasn't got many today, but he's slowly just staying in the lead and making sure he's still got that 1-2 stroke buffer.
Yeah, for sure. And as you get down the stretch here, there's a couple of holes that are very straightforward. If you're a guy like Paul McBeth, you're pretty much counting the score you're already going to get on it as a birdie likely. And let's look at the chase card. We got Tony Maurice here. I'm sorry, Tony Mo Rice. I even asked him how to pronounce his name.
Oh my goodness, what a putt.
Yeah, big layout.
From a knee, probably at close to 80 feet, I would say.
Yeah.
Big putt. Love seeing those cart check-ins. All right, here we are at hole 13, the shortest hole in the course, I believe, if not a rival to hole 17. Very straightforward. Players want to be getting the birdie on this one.
Paul with the backhand putter. Uses the left side 9-footer. Thomas trying to drift a little bit more right than Paul. There's kind of a tree that's near circle's edge that governs, whether your shot is going to get to the basket or not. Pick a side, left or right. Garrett tracks directly towards it, and that's the one you can't hit.
Good sidearm approach there. There's actually, on my card, an ace by Kobe. He threw the sidearm flex on the left side of that tree and got himself an ace in this last round here.
Garrett's going to take twice as many strokes to do that, but still a great putt, and you take your birdies all the time, right?
Hey, you'll take any strokes under par when you can get them. And surprisingly, and somewhat funny, I think, is it was Kobe's second ace on the event. He aced the previous day on hole 3.
Yeah, I've heard of, 2 aces in a round, very rarely. I don't know that I've ever heard of 2 aces for one player in a single A-tier.
Yeah. And Thomas grabbing a good birdie putt there. Yeah, it's pretty wild to get an ace in a tournament, let alone getting 2 aces in a tournament.
Yeah, for sure. I might be at 2 or 3 in my career. Adam, the woes kind of continuing here. He's back to even for the round, and he's going to need to make sure... he's going to be at 1 over after this hole finishes. He's got to make sure that the wheels don't come completely off. It's difficult to do, but you have to.
All right, and here we are at hole 14, 312-foot par 3. The hole is really a slowly turning to the left. It's a very slow either flip up or maybe flat, faster speed disc, but I'm excited to see how these players attack it.
Paul made kind of the same mistake in round 1, pushing it a little bit too far right. He's playing for that mid-range flip up, as I believe Thomas is as well. And not great there. I think the dream on a hole with a break like this is you want to at least make the catch cam, make the video team cut to the catch cam at some point. Garrett able to throw a T-bird long of the basket. And
this is an interesting play.
I understand it. If you can throw that forehand and get it to turn over late, that is kind of following the shape of the fairway without the potential to skip long left. We saw Kobe Geist try it in round 1. Thomas having to lay up to the center, so he'll have another approach to go. And Paul with a little bit of an errant forehand. He's going to have to make a putt to save his par. But if you're thinking of this as match play, Paul versus Thomas right now, it's definitely advantage Paul. He's a stroke ahead on this hole alone, and he's 2 strokes ahead to begin.
Adam being able to give it a run at least from there, but he was stopped pretty short. He'll be able to tap in for 3.
Garrett off the top.
Garrett, fortunate there.
You see a good gallery. We mentioned it in the first couple rounds, but South Florida really showed up to support here. A lot of folks following the FPO lead card, which was very competitive with a whole bunch of Florida locals and folks traveling down for the event. And then folks continuing to follow along with the MPO chase and lead cards here. We really appreciate the support. It really makes a difference, feeling like a professional style event and, knowing that disc golf locally is enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with those statements there about the crowd here. It was good, it was fun, and it's a very enjoyable atmosphere.
So we'll see 3 pars and a bogey. Once again, par 3 playing challenging here for our leaders.
Yeah, and speaking of challenging, another very challenging par 3 here at 342 feet. Hole 15 is not your gimme birdie by any means, and a bonus if you get it, with it being on this pyramid or a tiered green there. Not a lot of easy things happening on this hole, but the sidearm is the best way to get to the green.
Yeah, and look at Paul here. He goes low with a fast disc and gets the good skip. Garrett's going to go Wraith Roller. Saw him do this in round 1 very successfully. And he lines himself up so that he's getting the disc vertical going through the gap. None of the like flippy disc to land cutty. Like, this is all vertical to make it as skinny as possible.
It's an absolutely incredible shot there. Wow.
Yeah, what a wizard.
I've said it before and I'll say it again on this weekend. He's one of the best in the game at throwing the roller. Because, look how tight that gap is.
Yeah, and the tree on the left is earlier than the tree on the right. So you really don't have the luxury of being able to, swing left to right. You have to go vertical like he does. Adam gets bogged down a little bit. Thomas going much too high and taking the rough kick to the right side. That makes this angle very challenging. He's looking at forehand cut roller. Those are tough. Like, you almost spike it into the ground and hope to get a roll out of it.
Yeah, you're really hoping and playing for that first ground play to be good. Because if it's bad, you're usually in trouble with those.
Yep. So Thomas laying up, likely to take a bogey after that.
Adam running it from way deep. Paul McBeth is just incredible.
I'm not really impressed. I saw what he did in round 1 from twice as far.
Yeah, that putt was absolutely absurd. That was the putt of the weekend for sure.
But still, Paul, like, not to discount it, Paul made a really nice putt on a really hard hole for the birdie. Thomas in, going to take a bogey.
Yeah, Thomas, unfortunately, with a couple bogeys down the stretch, it's going to probably put this one out of reach for him to chase down Paul.
Yeah, you got to think so. He's at this point, he needs to be aware of what Garrett's doing. If Garrett makes this, he's within 1 stroke of Thomas for the 2nd place. We saw a couple guys on the chase card with our check-ins making a decent run at lead card, or at what the lead card was doing. And in kind of a blah otherwise round, I saw what Garrett did in round 1 and said, I can do that.
Look at you.
It's a little better than the other day.
And somehow that curls around the entire backside.
Wow.
I get a turbo.
How did he do that?
That's incredible, Fishy. Nice shot.
Thank you.
What a CTP. Wow.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
That's awesome. Here we are at hole 16, 270 feet. It's a par 3. There's a low ceiling that players will throw a skip shot on, or as we saw in round 1, there is this over-the-top shot that Paul's throwing.
I just can't get over how He's the only person I saw even try it. That's pretty cool. Oh, am I going to see
Oh.
Garrett try it now too?
Gonna say, did he get Garrett to think about it?
Yeah, the skies are open for this man. Speaking of the skies, we are right next to an international airport, so there's constantly plane noise. We're also in a multi-use park, and this hole is kind of exposed. We played a few that are a little set back from other park activities, but with the lake right beside you, dog parks, parking lots, pavilions, like Fort Lauderdale has it going on all at Snyder Park.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in this park. And Adam's going to sneak to the AOB, but he's going to stay in bounds there, give himself about a 30-footer.
Yeah, again, really impressive forehand. Garrett. Nicely done. Once again with the high to low hyzer putt.
When that putt's on, it's so good. And he's
Yeah.
able just to drop him in from about anywhere. Yeah, this park, speaking of it, during one of our practice rounds, it was actually so busy that there was a barbecue and group of people that were enjoying the night. They were actually stationed on one of the tee pads, so we actually just skipped the hole.
Yep. Sometimes it happens.
Hey, you gotta share the park.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a suburban area. So a lot of folks out here. You got to get your park space where you can.
And Paul's going to get another birdie there, taking him to 5 under on the round.
Adam proving his ambidexterity.
And here we are at hole 17. 200 feet, just a little bit uphill. We've got this green that it sits on, and all the way wrapped around the left side is going to be OB. So really, you just want to throw it into that front wall and give yourself about a 15, 20-footer.
Paul going to go putter, just drifting it left to right a little bit and making the right mistake, throwing it into the wall just short of the basket. Garrett gets to go Sonic. Does the same.
Oh, wow. Is Thomas going for the ace there?
Maybe. I think he probably was just trying to have enough speed to get it to the wall and happened to juice it a little bit too much. Still runs it. Not a whole lot left on his comeback.
But that would have been so filthy if he made that. Can't even see the basket because of the wall. Just a little up and over jumper.
Yeah, that's the kind of big putt that gets Starframe started for sure. Here he is for par. And now that's going to make Garrett's putt for birdie even more critical. That could potentially tie them for second. Taking his time and in successfully. Nicely done.
So is this something you really think about, Fish, when you get down to the end of a tournament? Are you really thinking about where exactly you are and, what strokes are going to get you where? Or are you kind of just playing to have the round, that you have that day?
I really try not to think about scores. Sometimes it creeps in, and it most often creeps in when things are going poorly. Go ahead and talk about 18 and I'll finish up.
Yeah, hole 18 is a par 4. It's going to have a Mando about halfway down the fairway that players are going to need to stay left of, but a very tight 2-shot hole.
Yeah, a couple options off the tee, forehand, backhand, roller. So as far as scoring, I don't want to know because I feel like it can only hurt me to think more about what the stakes of a hole or a shot are. So I try to be as oblivious as possible. Garrett,
Oh, and
nice bounce off the Mando tree, I think, to save him from missing that.
yeah, I was going to say a very fortunate bounce there.
But I will say, I think it's irresponsible with the technology that we do have, as Thomas is going to flare out of bounds? No, not quite. It's irresponsible to not use the scores to your advantage when you can. And sometimes you can launder that through a caddy who can tell you, you need to go for this now, or you can lay this up. When you're in the position of, are you going to get second or third? Often that translates into, more bonus money or more prize money, or just the feeling of second, or I threw a good shot to take second rather than I made a mistake and it cost me third. Something like that.
Yeah. Our players here kind of just chunking along, not really having the best approaches. Paul having the best one so far, and he's even going to be a little short himself.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit the nature of hole 18. Like, no matter how well you throw your tee shot, you're likely to have to scramble a little bit. Paul did well to get himself to the left side, as you were wanting to do in our round one coverage, so that you can access the back door a little bit. When you're pinched on the right side, you don't have that luxury.
Thomas having to just pitch out there, unfortunately.
Garrett with the approach. He's going to run to the back side of the green.
Kind of looked like a little half bid there out of him.
Yeah, he might have been trying to take solo second with a little poke at it. Thomas. Oh boy.
No.
So that's kind of ending his tournament on a bad note, but still, we got to see him 3 rounds on Gatekeeper's coverage. Really appreciate him being a good sport for that. Adam, nice birdie to finish. Didn't have the round he wanted, but still great experience to be on the lead card for the final round of an A-Tier. Get the round on film. We look forward to big things out of Adam.
An uncharacteristic miss from Thomas there. Giving up another stroke.
Yeah, he lost it a little bit down the stretch. Garrett in nicely for his 4. Gonna take solo second. And we know Florida shows up for Garrett, and Garrett shows up for Florida. He played really, really well in the last several tournaments of the year in his home state.
And there you have it, folks. Your winner is Paul McBeth.
Yep.
6 down that round.
Yeah,
good.
Closed well on the back. And our full leaderboard there. Brandon Latta with that strong front, pushing him into a tie for 4th, along with a couple other guys. It's been a great 2022 for Gatekeeper Media and all of disc golf. I'm Andrew Fish. Nick, take us out.
And I'm Nick Hansen. Thanks for joining us all year long. And with that, the 2022 season comes to an end. We'll see you in 2023, y'all.
All right, guys, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Guys, this is the biggest turnout we've ever had for the South Florida Open. It's been 10 years. The spectators all week, you guys have been amazing. And just please, thank you guys very much, everybody coming out. This is hands down the best event that we've had yet. The women's FPO has been the biggest we've ever had that I know of down here. Can't think of another event we've managed to bring this many pro women down, which is huge. It was Ace Run, correct? Ace Run Productions did the FPO coverage all week. It's going to be done through Gatekeeper Media. Everybody come check that out. In the next couple weeks, all of these will be up to see. Also, thank you for these guys to come down, film for us all week. And this year, our 2022 champion, Mr. Paul McBeth.
Well, thank you all for coming out. This is an awesome turnout. We had spectators every day, like he mentioned, yeah, just thankful for this Florida weather and being able to play tournaments here. We're in December, so this is awesome. So, thank you, Discraft. Thank you, Gritback. It's been a pleasure playing with Thomas, Garrett, Adam, everyone else I played with this weekend. I want to say happy birthday to my brother. It's the 15th coming up, but he's here. Thank you everyone that ran this tournament. So hopefully I'll be back again next year. Living in Florida, so this isn't too far away. So thank you all.
And then a big round of applause, second place, Mr. Garrett Gurthie.
I'll give a little speech. I guess anytime I could take second to Paul, you know, it's a win for me.
Yeah, win-win.
I mean, Paul's he's the greatest player as we are right now. I want to give hats off to him and always supporting Double G Craft Turkey. He's been a great friend of mine. I remember the first day that we showed up to Charlotte together when he won his first championship, and from there we've been hitting it off ever since. So Paul's one of my good friends. Thomas played great this weekend, pushed me that last round, good shooting. We all mess up every once in a while. So John, happy birthday to you, bud. I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend Jess and Tilly. Thank you for always watching her. And my Florida family. It's nice to be back in the state of Florida. This weather is great. Thank you guys.
And then our returning champion, third place, Mr. Thomas Gilbert.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say thank you to all coming out this weekend. It really is awesome to see all the crowds. It's a huge, honestly, it was so cool to see all of you out here. Last year we had a really good crowd, and you guys absolutely blew it out of the water this year. Thank you, Pat, and all the tournament staff for running this event. It's one of the ones that's my favorite to come down each year, escape the cold of Canada. So really awesome to just be down here. Thank you all. And thanks to my sponsor, PDGA. It was an awesome 2 years, and I'm really excited to announce something soon. But stay tuned.
And then, before everybody leaves, stop by Tournament Central, find wherever Melissa's hiding, and tell her what a hell of a job she did. 1,000%. Yep, she's definitely hiding somewhere over there. But thank you guys so much, everybody. It's been a great, great year. Thank you.